Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be part 3 of my 2021 makeup inventory. In this video we will be covering eyebrow products, eyeshadow primers, and everything eye products up until 5-pan palettes. This video stops at 5-pan palettes. Tomorrow's video will start with 6-pan palettes. Lots of palettes. I have a long time history of collecting eyeshadows. I've been trying to curb that big time. It's been hard. Unfortunately, it takes a long time to use up an eyeshadow palette, so there hasn't been a lot of change in any of these categories. A lot of what you're going to see today is similar to what you would have seen in last year's inventory, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's where we're at as of today. I hope you guys enjoy seeing what my inventory looks like currently. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye. Okay, here are my inventory of brow products. This category did go up by 2. I had 10 last year, and I have 12 now. I used up a ColourPop Brow Boss, that's what they're called, Brow Boss, and I received these 3 products from ABH through an influencer Vox box. So that's why the number changed. Out of all of these products, the only one I'm using right now on a consistent basis is the brow gel. The main color product I'm using for my brows is actually an eyeshadow. And I'm probably going to keep working on that eyeshadow all year long, and once it's gone, then I will go back to some of these brow products. I did have this one in a project, but it was a fail. If you saw my Prep That Product project, you know it was a fail. But yeah, I will probably have to continue buying more clear brow gels to work with the eyeshadow that I'm using as a brow powder. But that's the only brow product I intend to rebuy in 2021 is a clear brow gel. Okay, here is my inventory of eyeshadow primers. I had a surprisingly good year with decreasing my numbers for eyeshadow primers. First of all, nothing new came in. These are the same primers I had last year. -3. I had 24 last year and I'm currently at 21. I am counting each of these as one eyeshadow primer because each one takes like a month and a half to get through. I only finished one eyeshadow primer, that was my mica eye base, but I gave one eyeshadow primer away to a friend and I sold one to somebody. So that's how this number went down by 3. Currently, none of these are in a project. I'm using my concealer as an eyeshadow base. I have an eyeshadow crayon as an eyeshadow base, the NYX Jumbo in Milk, and then I have a liquid eyeshadow that I sometimes use as an eyeshadow base. So I'm using a bunch of products that are not in this category as my eyeshadow base every day. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put any of these into a project this year, but obviously I would love to knock those 2 out if possible, just to get my numbers down a little bit more. So yeah, I'm really happy to have this category down by 3. I don't plan to buy another eyeshadow base, but there is part of me that wishes I still had a glitter glue on hand, and that was one of the products I gave away. So it's possible I could buy a glitter glue this year, but not likely. I don't wear glitter that often. Okay, here is my inventory of eyeshadow sticks. I did go down by 1. I went from 48 to 47 this year. I used it up. It was one of these Tarte ones, and it was in like a champagne shade called Shimmering Sands. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I do like these kind of products. I think they make a good base for your eyeshadow. Currently, I was working on this NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. I've been working on it for years. It's just always in A to Z. I also had this in a project. It's a Laura Mercier shadow stick in the shade Rush. And I had this Tarte stick in the shade Mocha Berry in a project as well. In the coming year, I am thinking I will continue to work on Milk. in the project it's been in, and I'm thinking about putting this guy into a project. This is a really old Maybelline eyeshadow stick in a light blue shade, and I think I'd like to try to pan that this year. But other than those two, I don't have any plans at this moment to project pan any of these. At least not yet. Okay, this category here is my eyeshadow bases. These all have some level of color to them. They're not like a skin colored eyeshadow base. They have color. You get what I'm saying. I had 38 last year and I have 38 this year. I did not use any up and no new ones came in. This inventory has not changed other than I have been working on some of these. I spent a good chunk of last year working on this very old Revlon one, and I did finish this half, and I'm currently working on this half. I like to use this eyeshadow base if I'm wearing like any kind of a smoky, bronzy eye. I also have this color tattoo from Maybelline in a project, and of course I pull this out whenever I do anything green. I've had these two Mary Kay bases in projects in the past year. This purple one I've had in projects for 2 or 3 years. I wear this every time I wear a purple look, which I wear a lot of. This is where I'm currently at on it. And I had this other Mary Kay eye base in the shade Iced Cocoa in the same project, and I did not make much progress on this at all. I used it a few times, but nothing to really write home about. I think I'm going to continue working on the same eye bases for this year, these two, and I think I'm going to add this one into a project. This is a very old Mary Kay eye base. It's in the shade Silver. This was the Icicles eye color, and this is the shade Silver, and I have used a ton of this. There cannot be much left because when I first got this, I wore the heck out of it. I wore it every day for forever. And I thought maybe I could finish this off this year. And maybe I could finish this one off this year. And maybe I could finish this one off this year. I doubt it for that one. But I'm going to keep working on these, and hopefully this category will finally go down in 2021. Okay, here are all of my loose pigments. I just call them loose pigments. Some of these have glitter, some of these are reflex, some of these are pressed into pots, so they're not as loose as others. But I have them all lumped together in this category, and I had 90 last year, and I still have 90. I think I should have counted them again. Hold on, let me count. All right, it's a good thing I stopped to count because I had forgotten one. This guy was in my bathroom, so yeah, now I have 90. I had 90 last year. I kind of looked at this category in previous years as something I wouldn't ever finish any of. I would just enjoy them, maybe put them in Project 10 uses or put them in little quarterly projects to work on. But I didn't think I would ever actually finish one of these, and therefore I didn't think this category would ever actually go down. If any of you guys have ever panned a loose pigment, you know why I'm saying that. But something has changed, and I have decided to put this in a project to finish. This is a Salty Cosmetics pigment in the shade Glamazoid, and I'm putting it in a project not because I love it, but because I don't love it and I want to move it out. I don't like to use this as a loose pigment on the eyes at all. The way I actually found to make this work for me is to use it to set my eyeshadow primer. Several of you guys gave me that suggestion, and when I tried it that way, it really worked. And so I'm going to put this in a project this year, and hopefully I will be able to use it up by using it to set my eyeshadow primer. And then maybe this category will finally go down by one, assuming I don't buy any. I don't think I'll buy any. Okay, here are all of my beautiful fancy top coat thingies. I never know what to call these, but these are just the kind of products that I think of like in addition to eyeshadow. Like These are my makeup savers. If I try an eyeshadow look and it doesn't turn out the way I was hoping it would, or it's just messier than I wanted it to, I will reach for one of these and it just fixes it. It's magic. I had 53 last year and I'm down to 52. I did not use one up, but I did sell one. This is a lot like the last category where I really feel like I'm probably never going to use anything up, but they make appearances in projects like Project 10 Uses and other short-term projects, so I could enjoy them for a little while. I've actually had this one in a project to finish and I just haven't been reaching for it. This is Smoldering Satin from Stila. I don't know why. I also have these three in Project 10 Uses currently, and I've been enjoying them a ton. I love all of these so much. There's not anything I don't like here. The problem with these is that they dry up and they get old. And so I have decided to put one of these tiny glazing eyeglosses in a project for this year. These are their shades right here. And I'm probably gonna go for one of these kind of warm neutral shades and put them in a project for this year because I've had them for a while, and if they aren't dried up yet, they're going to dry up really soon. So yeah, I am down to 52 from 53 this year.
Look at this.
Okay, here are my Super Shock shadows. I used to love buying and collecting these. They were so much fun. I really miss that. But as a result, my numbers haven't gone up at all. I'm still at 72. I was at 72 last year. I really haven't worked on these much in the past year. The only one I've worked on is this guy. This is Koosh, which is, I just love this. I can't quit it. I use it as an inner corner highlight almost every day.
Mommy, can I use
Yeah, sure. It's just a great shadow. I think I will put it into a project for this year.
Okay, kitty?
I would love to hit pan on a few more. I have divided these up. Everything here down, I have pan on. Everything here up, I do not have pan yet. And some of these are definitely starting to dry up and crumble. So I'd like to hit a few more pans in 2021. That would be great. Here are all of my depotted singles that are in magnetic palettes. I had 223 last year, which is a big number, and I have 224 this year. This number actually went up by 1. I did not buy any new singles. I was a good girl, but I did depot 3 into my magnetic palettes. And I finished 2, so that's why this category went up by 1. 2 went out and 3 came in from my singles inventory. This over here is Looksy Beauty Starboy. I dropped it and it shattered and I didn't have time to repress it, so it's living in here for now. I'm not currently working on that one at all, but I wanted it accounted for in these pictures. Currently what I'm working on is, where'd they go? This one is Halo from Looksy Beauty, and this one is Corrupt from Makeup Geek. Those are the 2 I currently have in projects. I've mentioned this in other posts, but I definitely want to play around with these and rearrange and make a palette that I can keep in the bathroom and pull from. So look for a video of that coming in the next month or so. I wanted to show you guys this too. This is where I keep the 2 shadows that I'm working on in the bathroom. They both fit in here. That way I don't have any of these big palettes in my bathroom. So yeah, sad to be up by 1, but proud of myself for not buying any new ones. I will say that the stained glass collection from the Cleonad Cosmetics line almost got me. Those singles are gorgeous, and I want to buy the entire range, so it did take a little bit of willpower to not do that this year. Okay, I know this is a lot. I know some of you are overwhelmed. Don't worry, I'm not overwhelmed. I'm okay. These are my eyeshadow singles. I count these as singles because they're so small. I should probably have them in my quads, but that seems silly too, so I call them singles. I had 145 eyeshadow singles last year, I think. And now I have 141, I think. It gets hard to count these, guys. Give me a break. There's a lot here. This is obviously not an eyeshadow single. It is a Milani Tantastic Face and Body Baked Bronzer, but it is way too shimmery for me to put it anywhere other than my eyelids. This is an antique. It was my mother's. It's a very old Maybelline single in a very unflattering seafoam green shade. Look at that beauty. Haven't used it, but I can't let go of it. Could you imagine buying an eyeshadow single in a case like this today? I can't. I did not use any of my eyeshadow singles up in the past year, unfortunately. 3 were depotted into my magnetic palettes and 1 I sold. So that's how my number went down by 4. Down here are the ones that I'm currently working on in my Dude You Pan, my Battleship project. I have hit pan on this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I'm trying to hit pan on the other 16. Or at least until I sink Elizabeth's battleships. We've been having a lot of fun with that game. And I'm so glad I've been able to use some of these single eyeshadows because of that project. It's been great. I also got some use out of this single right here. This was the single in my Pan That palette for 2020 in Panning Solitaire. I know that's only a fraction of all of the eyeshadows I own and all of the singles I own, but yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with the ones that I am using. And I've used these more in the past year than I've used probably in the last 5 years altogether, so it's good. It's going well. But I'm still at 141 single eyeshadows, which is probably too many. Okay, here is my inventory of eyeshadow duos. I had 29 last year and I still have 29. I did not use any up, I did not sell any or give any away, and I did not buy any. So this is exactly the same as it was last year. The main difference being that I did work on this duo right here quite a bit in 2020. I managed to, there it is. I managed to hit pan on one of the shades, and I have now declared this my Baby Pan That palette, which means I will be working on this duo until it is completely gone. Which sounds simple, right? It's just 2 eyeshadows. How hard can it be? It'll take me a while. It'll probably take me at least all of this year and maybe some of next year, but this should be gone next. Okay, here are all of my eyeshadow trios. That's 3 shades in 1 pan. I had 26 last year. I have 26 this year. The only change is that one of these trios is technically now a duo. I finished one of the shades in this trio that was in my Panning Solitaire Pan That palette for 2020. I don't think I worked on any other trios other than that one though. So we're still at 26. Technically, this trio is not in a project, but I haven't been able to take it out of my bathroom just yet. It's still sitting in my bathroom. I'm having trouble letting it go back into the office for now. I think I'm having some regrets about not finishing it in 2020 like I wanted to. But it is definitely 2021 now. Okay, here is part one of my quads. These are all what I consider to be like low end or drugstore priced quads. Not all of them can be purchased at a drugstore, but they are cheaper quads. And I have 32 here. These are the same 32 I had last year. I did have this one in a project, this Milani Fierce Foil Eyes in Florence. Yes. This was in my panning solitaire project in the second half of 2020. I didn't make a ton of progress on it, but I did get a little bit of use out of it. The rest of these, as far as I can recall, have not been touched at all in the past year. Yeah, I don't think so. So we're still at 32. Up next is high-end quads, because I have a lot of quads. Okay, here are the high-end quads. These are more expensive quads, although a lot of them were gifts with purchase, like this Clinique one and this Estee Lauder and this Lancome. But I'm putting them all together as high-end quads. I had 23 last year and I have 23 this year. So there has been no major change in this category. In fact, I don't think I touched any of these in the past year. Yeah. I don't think so. So, no change. Okay, here are my 5-pan palettes or my quints. I had 15 last year and I have 15 again this year. I don't think I touched any of these in the past year, even once. I was really hoping to do well enough in my panning solitaire project to be able to roll in a 5-pan palette, which would have meant I would have had to have completely finished another shadow, but it did not happen. It was not in the cards, and unfortunately I haven't had a chance to play with any of these in the past year, so hopefully that will change. Hopefully I will find some project to put one of these in, but for now I am still at 15 and none of these are currently in a project. Alright guys, that is it for part 3 of my makeup inventory. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.